His very name strikes fear into the heart of man and mushroom alike, and he's also pretty good at figure skating. Time to get real into unethical science! All warfare is based on deception. If your opponent is of choleric temperament, seek to irritate him. Steal their hats. I had two reactions to this. My first reaction was, wow, this is an incredible amount of worlds. My second reaction to this was, what the fuck? Hey, Todd? What the fuck? That's not a monster. That's a bird. Let Sonic cry over the loss of what could have been, Sega, you cowards! They talked together long by themselves, but this only was known of their business, that they were to be friends of each other. They parted, and each went home to his own colony. Riveting! You should be wary of anyone who builds their personality around swords. The potential energy I shall release into a holy flame so that I might burn out the blasphemy from Sonic's modern iteration! God has cursed me for my hubris, and my work is never finished. Yeah, your fists are used for melee, but that leaves your feet and your elbows open to fucking jam. Who really has the time to read all those books? I do. Apparently. I mean, most of these monsters are pretty okay. They're not the most Surprise! I lulled you into a false sense of security. And 5, they have a very similar diet to me. We're done with these now, so. What are the ramifications of a Sonic the Hedgehog game based on the Bible? Serious. Snake Man. That's garbage, Todd. We've done some shit to bees, y'all. They didn't choose to be born. Who does choose to be born, right? Who chooses? Here's the big rule of thumb. Magicians are always evil. Consider for a moment Moby Dick. You might receive this book in your English class and say, hell yeah, a big ol' whale? I can't wait to see Ahab level up and hit that big boy right in his weak points. And sure, he puts his harpoon up in Moby D's flanks, but spoiler alert, Ahab gets got, even though he's been grinding for like years, and Pale Whale's just a dipshit fish with a thing for sailor feet. And so you say this to Miss Mahoney, and she's like, Brian, don't you get it? The whale is a metaphor for something. And then you write that on your final exam, and you pass the class. Now, let's get into the fun part. Fuck the man and fuck the beat he made you drum to. Let me take a moment to move over to a different board so I can show you Kirby's origin story. There's nothing here! And I learned that from Rihanna. The Kioma demon hangs out in mirrors and jumps out and scares you, and I don't need any more reason to be afraid of looking at myself in the mirror. There is no better place to make a friend than on the battlefield. Dragon Rider. This dude doesn't have a dragon. His job title is obviously false. It's like if I got promoted to guy who had an okay time in high school. How can this sentient garbage bag accomplish so much? Technically not murder, definitely bad. It's the stews. Strollin' stew. Soarin' stew. Swiping stew. Smoldering stew. And remember what I said before about how it went era to Twilight and then to Shadow? What comes after that? That's right, it's darkness, baby. If you can carry a gun, you can carry a tune. No one wants to hear my opinion, which is why I am not expressing an opinion, I am stating a fact. But I really do think we should include hyena with gun. Have you ever thought about the term boss in a video game before? Those terrible enemies have the same title as the people you'll be working for the rest of your life. What a silly coincidence! There isn't an OSHA guide to Bloodsport. The next monster is Evil Force, and I want you to just go ahead and wipe away all preconceived notions. Obviously the name makes it sound bad. It also is terrible. Just let me game, Mom! And I just think we need to start thinking of New Jersey in general as sexier. The game frame's mainframe. But how many frames does a gamer game in the game frame mainframe? If you have 200,000 frames per game and you have 200,000 gamers, that's 200,000 gamers that have only had 1 frame per game per gamer. And that is no good, is it? Now you might say, Brian, what gives you the right to say what is good fiction? I read all 338, you dingus! Walk into an unknown space. I want the first question on your mind to be, am I safe to smash? Mario has committed at least 5 war crimes. Only someone blind to the modern blasphemies of the Sonic franchise could see as clearly as I. All right, assholes. I have no more space here, so I made you a data cube. Are you happy? You can tell it's a new season because I've grown a mustache and cut my hair. Oh, I'm obviously just kidding. These are both fake. I know how much it would disappoint my friends if I changed my appearance. I'm just kidding again. I'm not your friend, and you have no say over what I do with my body. Legend of Zelda Monopoly. The most important Legend of Zelda game of all time. The one that makes Breath of the Wild make sense. Reggie, take fucking notes. I just saved your ass with Monopoly. This is the pin that holds the entire Zelda timeline together. You made me use Monopoly. I couldn't give a shit about death. You should have removed that stained glass first. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to go throw myself into the ocean now. Be better than the Royal Rat Authority, who vomits acid all over the floor multiple times a day and is still considered a pretty okay boss. Aim higher. All of his plans sound more like schemes. That's a fool's errand, Brian. You are a fool. They called me a fool, but do I look like a fool to you? This is just a visual aid. They're all blank. I wouldn't waste paper like that. Acid Man was built to be a chemist. What's he good for? Titrations? That's a chemistry. Here's some issues with canon over here. Aldia, Scholar of the First Sin, is constantly testing you because he sees great things in you. But dude, not everything has to be a test. This is a game style. And in Kingdom Hearts, this is when Sora goes into Hollow Bastion so he can fight Riku, who's actually being possessed by Ansem, who is the heartless version of Terra Xehanort, who was originally Terra but then was possessed by Xehanort before him. The large airships flying around you in these stages are not only electrical equipment, but they are designed to harm and kill you. Violation. Okay, that's fine. In the time break. The time break. And while we are hanging out in the time break, Sonic's here. Sonic's in the time break, baby. And then it's another existential crisis, but this is my favorite one because instead of having an existential crisis and then going to have to save the world from a moon, or having an existential crisis and hanging out with pirates, he just gets really into fashions. Which is why I am sending you this video, Masahiro Sakurai. Surely you can't afford $17 million in fines. I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. OSHA doesn't need to hear about all this evidence I've compiled. All you must do is send me $50 US. You sweet summer child, you babe swaddled in the cashmere blanket of ignorance, you ask too little of me. And the fifth and final C can really just go to town on a motherfucker. Slices, dices, big old crunchers. And then you fail again. And since this oblong actually crosses through the hero's journey twice, we're gonna make this easy to remember and call it the Hero's Memories of the Hero's Journey Double Cross Oblong, or HMHJXXO. And then he defeats the thing and he goes into existential crisis mode, just like over here, and like over here, and like over there. I forgot about the villain's journey. The villain's tridecagon. The villain's tridecagon is definitely the key. The tridecagon of villainy. This is a 13-sided shape that goes one further than the dodecagon of the hero's journey. Dude, you gotta wear more than a loincloth to work. I told you that I would explain the time break, didn't I? And I'm gonna explain it right now. Why does no one understand the time break except for me, Brian David Gilbert? Why am I the only scholar in time break studies?